sound, action, camera, lights, they're all working. I always like to look at my little image there, see if anything is happening that's out of the ordinary. Well, happy Friday to you, Soy and Siki. Cheers. Hope you're enjoying, like me, a fresh, refreshing beverage of some kind. I don't know. Oh, man, that's good. All right. We got some fresh Diet Coke. First Diet Coke of the day. Also the last. I like to keep it to one. Not that I don't drink other things during the day. There is the beautiful blue Bluetooth controller. Welcome to Friday. I'm very excited about today's stream. I'm really excited about today's stream. Would I lie to you about something like maybe? No, but I am. Lots of things are happening. First of all, I've been trying to get to like a nice island trip to Bora Bora planned for weeks now. And I haven't, so many current events have happened that have affected what I wanted to do in Flight Simulator. I've been really wanting to fly at B2. We're going to put the B2 away for a while. We flew B2 enough. It's out of the news already. And then today they dropped a bombshell, Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'll show you. We're going to show you. Let me bring this up here. Not a bombshell, but something worth checking out here. Hold on one second here. I'm going to bring up a little short YouTube video for you that Microsoft has. Aw, you're very welcome, Milo. I don't know if she's watching. I just sent her a little money, no big deal. Where am I? Okay. Yeah, premium Microsoft Flight Simulator City update. So they came out with a Microsoft Flight Simulator City update just today. And the cool thing is that they announced Northeastern, or let me show it to you here. Hold on a second here. The cool thing is they announced it and it gets released the same day and it's free, all of those. Here, check it out. We're going to watch the little video they released today. It's only 1 minute, 22 seconds long. We can kind of see a little preview of places that we want to check out. Proudly presents. At least they didn't misspell anything so far. Oh, that's a little loud. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Seabright, New Jersey. It's all in the northeastern U.S. I have no idea where Seabright is. Updated Statue of Liberty. It was already pretty good. Manhattan. All of Manhattan. A lot of new buildings in Manhattan. A lot of change buildings. That's a new Brooklyn Bridge, I think. Brooklyn's been redone. Coney Island. It looked terrible. I don't know where Southdale is. I don't know where Orient, New York is, but it looks really cool. This looks interesting. I've seen this a couple times. Beaver Tail Lighthouse. Pleasant Bay, Massachusetts. Cliff Pond, Massachusetts. A bunch of places I've never heard of. We're going to visit all these places over the next week. Not one day. Boston, Massachusetts. We've been there and not in a while, and that's a good thing because it looks gorgeous. Gillette Stadium, Norton Reservoir. Never heard of it. Providence. We've been there, but it looks real pretty. That's it. It's not a lot, but it's also it's not a little either. You know what I mean? It's a lot of new content that they have made available to us. Thank you, Microsoft Flight Simulator. So it kind of makes me excited yeah, there are large population areas and a lot of buildings, a lot of potential, but I like kind of the smaller, more naturalistic places. Like, we've been to Manhattan, we've been to Boston, we'll go to those. But Beaver Tail Lighthouse Museum, Rhode Island. I'd have to do some research or let's see, let's check out, Beaver Tail Lighthouse Museum, Pleasant Bay, Massachusetts. That sounds like a vibe. We'll take a seaplane to Pleasant Bay, Massachusetts. Now, and we'll land on the bay, I think. You know what I mean? Something real kind of just sightsee and nice. We'll get a chance to see a lot of large population areas. And we might do a couple flights today, but because I like to get these in, as you know, when they come out those little videos and they point out all these places to go, I'm like, yeah, let's kind of take them in order. And usually I make a jot down on my notepad all those locations because they're not necessarily marked on the map in some way. We could fly the Goose. Now, the Goose is a little too boring. We're not going to fly that. We could just fly our Icon A5 because that's a real fun plane. Real easy to get around. It takes off from the ground, lands on the water, vice versa. It comes in this beautiful black color, which we're going to set up here. So, yeah, okay, it's already set up for the black. Perfect. Oh, very nice. I'm just kind of surprised to save that. All right, so here's where I have to do a little research. Okay, Pleasant Pleasant Bay. Is that what it was? Pleasant Bay, Massachusetts. I'm gonna have to do a little research on this. I mean, by looking at the map here, it should just take a second. Hopefully, okay. It could take a couple of seconds. Maps. Oh, I had trouble using this keyboard in the wrong place. Okay, Pleasant Bay, Massachusetts. Pleasant Bay, Orleans? Is that what that is? Okay. Little Pleasant Bay, Pleasant Bay. Okay, I see it. Where is it? It's north. Okay, it's on Cape Cod Bay, but it's south of the actual Cape Provincetown. Provincetown is it's on the north. Okay, where is that? Little Pleasant Bay and Pleasant Bay. All right, let's check them out. It shouldn't be too hard to find. All right, I know where we are visiting today. So we've been to Cape Cod a million times. It's summer, not a million times, but the famous Provincetown here, where purportedly, oh gosh, no, Manhattan be crazy living. Where purportedly, not that the British first landed. The English people leaving. Boy, it's really cloudy down there suddenly. Can I see where I want to go? Okay, this is where we want to go. This southern, or kind of, where is it exactly? It's just basically in this eastern part here. If we take off from Chatham Municipal, perfect. We're gonna cold start it just because this plane is easy. It's easy to cold start as you just turn a key and it starts right up. And then we're gonna head kind of just northeast, and we're gonna get there. It should be easy to find. But they've redone this area as of today. I just, previous to signing in for today's live stream, I started up Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 because I knew there was this update to the update that I read about just earlier today, and activated it. It's free, but you have to go through this whole process. But then the actual data for it is streamed off the server. So in other words, now that we have it, it doesn't preload it. It's pretty cloudy there today. It's maybe one of these magical weather changing days, if you know what I mean. Let's see how it looks. There we are, standing next to our icon. We can see the cover. It's got all the covers and stuff on it. It's kind of cool. Tie downs and stuff. The icon 8.5. Actually, this isn't the black one. This is the default one. It's hard to tell. And then that bus just went through us. All right. I don't think it's supposed to do that, is it? Anyway, if we go in, it should take off, automatically remove all the... It didn't. Ooh, that's a bug. Okay. Well, that's a problem, because I got to remove everything manually, and it's not even working. Ugh. Oof. I may not be able to cold start this guy today. Okay, canopy removed, but I have to remove everything else. And that may not be possible. Maybe all we need to remove is the canopy there. Because there's also an intake, right? There's the pitot tubes, but where are they? They're under the wing somewhere. Sometimes there's covers. And sometimes there's a static port. I don't think... Yeah, I don't see anything else to remove. All right, maybe we can start up. Let's try it. It doesn't matter. Let's give it a whirl. If not, we can always start at the... okay. All right, the battery master is there. Let's see. We're going to get ready to turn. Let's see. Throttle should be around there. There's a fuel, tiny little... Okay, parking brake should be on. I think there's a fuel cutoff up here. Right? Yeah, fuel valve should be on. Very good. We'll leave the canopy closed. All right. It looks like we're booting up there. And as I mentioned, it's just a matter of turning the key and it fires right up. It's very, very the simplest plane in my world, in my thing. I think you've seen it before. I fly a lot, and it's a real plane, but it's designed to take off on land and land on land or water. That's kind of the boat shape, that boat keel shape. We will be landing on water. Hello. Bunch of tourists. All right. It's a really cool plane, but it's designed to kind of be more of a let's pick up our map here. So yeah, okay, we want to go. Yeah, we're at Chatham. Basically, just straight north from here. All right, so let's see. Strobe lights on, navigation lights on, taxi lights on, landing lights. Landing lights. You can kind of see the cool LED landing lights there. Pretty cool. It looks good. Do we keep them on? Oh yeah, we want to turn on our transponder. It's on standby. Perfect. What's down here? Water rudder. It's a, so we land in the water and you push that button to bring your water rudder out. The water rudder is this tiny little thing on the back. You can kind of see on the back below the tail. It's just a little black section, little thing there. That goes down 90 degrees so that you can steer in the water. It'll be fun. All right, let's get out of here. We're gonna be heading north. I guess this isn't uncontrolled.
Kilo Charlie Quebec X-ray traffic. KNSH 9er is taxiing to runway 6.
Oh, this way.
Kilo Charlie Quebec X-ray traffic.
Hello? Wheel chocks or something? There we go. We're moving. It's fine. We'll be fine. But yeah, the general configuration of the plane with the pusher prop. Let's see, where's the end of the runway it wants us to go on? It's not going to tell us. I assume it's here. Uh-oh. That's fine. Just a little oversteer. But it's supposed to kind of look more like a car and have that kind of car feel to it as opposed to a plane. So, but still, it's not practical. I mean, it's still a toy, basically. What are you gonna do for rich people? But in the game, why not? The Icon A5. I did look it up, and apparently, yeah, they have sold them and made them, but they're not in big quantities. But I still want to get my electric plane working. It's still not working in 2024. The Aviation Alice. That's why I haven't flown that one in a long time. All right, announced. I guess we can just take off here. All right, so to take off, we're going to set takeoff trim, which is, hello. Takeoff trim, there we go, and flaps to the medium position. So takeoff trim is set. We can get this on. Let's fly around a bit. We're going to head off north on runway 6 here. I'm not sure it gave us permission to take off, but we're not really there yet. Full power, Chatham Municipal Airport. Which way are we heading? We're heading, okay, we're kind of heading north. Whoa. Little wind. We're good. Whoa, little wind. Little bumpy ride. It's good. It's all good. Okay, gear up, flaps up. It's all good. Gear comes in. So the gear comes in all nice and tight, and that way you got that boat hull bottom on there. Cool looking plane. All right, so this is the east side of Cape Cod, right? The whole, which is a pretty big area. All right, flashed, which we haven't flown around too much before. So this is kind of cool. I'm glad we haven't, though, because as I said, as of today, new city update updates this whole region here. So this area up ahead is, that's called, is basically Cape Cod National Seashore. Okay, there's Chatham right there, right? That's the Chatham Regional Airport behind us. Very good. I'm just looking on our Google Maps to kind of know where we are. Very good. And we're just going to head straight out from the runway. And, yeah, this up ahead, this kind of, this sandbar here, you can see a lot of people live around here. That is something's pond. Crow's Pond, Ryder's Cove. This is Ryder's Cove. And that's Crow's Pond. I'm just looking because I happen to have the Google Maps up so we can kind of navigate. And I've never been around here before. All right, so this is what it looks like from here. You get a very kind of car-like view. It's not a pressurized plane, so high altitude flights are probably not in the cards. So you can tell it's not pressurized just kind of in the overall look of. By the way, anyway, but it's not. Pressurized plane, a pressurization system is very complex. Not very many planes have it, especially propeller planes, because they just don't need to go that high. All right, so we're here for a little sightseeing. Let's do it. As I mentioned, this is Cape Cod National Seashore. It might be a you know, a preserve. I'm not sure it's a place you can actually go. And this isn't kind of where boats are going to right that little cut there. You'll have to see, they come in somewhere else. I think we'll find out. But it's just, yeah, the East Coast. I've definitely never really spent a lot of time in this part of the world. It's indicating 250 feet, but I feel like we're higher up. I'm not sure. I think our barometer is not set properly. Right. I should set my barometer. So yeah. So the other thing this plane is, it's not terribly fast, but it's great for sightseeing. But again, any stretch of water can be landed on, and we will be taking advantage of that and taking off too. Reducing trim a little bit and engine so that we can maintain a nose level. There we go. Vertical speed of 0. There is no autopilot function. And again, for the kind of flying that you're going to do here, I don't really see it. Why does it say alternator though? That's something I'm kind of curious about. As far as I know, there's no separate alternator switch, right? Probably could turn off our landing lights though. So there may be some kind of bug. We want to transponder to flight, right? Altitude. It might be a bug, or we may be losing power because our alternator isn't working. The alternator is charging the battery, and I think it's working, but I don't know why that light is on. It's always concerning when there's a yellow light on. It'd be worse if it was a red light. All right, so this is Cape Cod, whatever, National Seashore. National, though, I mean, geez, it's not just a state seashore. But it looks like a place where you're probably not allowed to go. Typically, it's kind of a preserve. There are beaches that are public that are like for people and like resorts and stuff, but they're further up, I think, quite a ways further up. All right, so where is I want to go? Okay, Little Pleasant Bay is up there, and Big Pleasant Bay is over here to the left. Okay, so Big Pleasant Bay is which one? All right, so we've already flown up this part of the seashore, right? Right, so Little Pleasant Bay is this one here, right here. That's Little Pleasant Bay. They just say it just says Pleasant Bay, and this is Big Pleasant Bay, or just Pleasant Bay. Right? Yes. Okay. Just checking it out here. We're gonna fly over it again. It looks like they've added a lot of high-end houses here. You know, so that you can, quality rich people living in this area, I'm sure. But yeah, no, this is this is what we came to see. I mean, it's nice and bucolic. It's pastoral. I'm just concerned it's a little bit of a cloudy day, so we're not getting a good feeling for it. These people have a tennis court, so and a dock in their backyard. The American dream, tennis court and a dock for your boat. It used to be, 2 chickens in every pot or whatever. But now it's tennis court and a dock for your boat. Some of these look pretty, not super high end, but nice. And here's where a lot of boats are docked. I'm looking at the map, and it's definitely there's a lot of streets in here. This is not, this is not forest land. This is, a lot of people are living here. It just looks from above. You can't always see it until you get right above the houses. You can't see them because there's so much tree growth in the area. Probably a very nice place to live. Although I don't know about the weather. Maybe the winters might be quite snowy, cold. Probably not snowy, but cold. That's some nice looking McMansions over here. Very nice. This little creek heading out into Pleasant Bay here. All right, this is how we're going to land this little plane here. We're going to come over this side here. First, we're going to burn off some altitude. We're going to burn off some speed. We're going to come in over this side here. We're going to land just, as I mentioned, just to show off the capabilities of this plane. That it can take off from land on any airport. It doesn't need a lot of runway. and then land on any pretty nice and flat piece of water. Now, open ocean is probably not recommended. This is probably a really good place to try to land this plane. Okay, we're going to come in over here. We're going to have to stall out, though. It's not a stunt plane. And then as we come in here, I'm going to start lowering the... Wait a minute. I just lowered the gear. Start lowering the flaps. Okay, flaps. Keep the gear up. Okay, gears up. Gears up, and so is our water rudder. We don't want to put the water rudder in until just after we hit the water. But they're doing a good... Okay, this is what this looks like from here. So you're watching airspeed very carefully. You really don't want to put it in the water over about 45. Because that's hard on the hull. You can damage it. So we're going to wait for that speed to come down to about 45 knots or so. You can see from the outside, we're just skimming the water here. Waiting for our airspeed to come down to a nice landing point here. There we go. Let's set her in there real gently. You can see the big water splash in the back. Oh yeah, so water rudder down. Put the water rudder down here. Hopefully we can steer. By the way, there's been some problems I've been noticing. Yeah, it's the same kind of thing where it just doesn't want to steer watercraft correctly. Like you steer it for a ways for a while and it just snaps back to the direction it was going. So you really can't steer these planes that well. I don't know. It's a bug, but it happens to every single watercraft. So it means even though technically you should be able to steer the plane in whatever direction you want to go, you can't. Because there's a bug. It's a weird bug too. I mean, so this is the way the plane wants to go. I can make it point to the right by steering all the way to the right, but then it's just gonna want to go back. Then when I release, it just goes back to the places it wants to go, right there. I can steer all the way left. I can do this for weeks. I can hold this button for weeks down, and then release it. It just goes back to where it wants to go. That's not how real planes work in the real world. That's not how real things work. They stay the direction you're pointing them at until you steer back. And you're like, well, are you doing, the water rudder's in, its operation is correct. And then when it goes back to straight, I get this strong, intense method. So it will only go where it and want to, which is why, anyway, let's take off again. Now, I think it's because it doesn't know really how to steer planes on the ground. It's a long story, but it's basically just a technical issue. All right, we're gonna get some spray going here. And then basically just pull back a little bit and not too far though. There you go. But we had the wheels up all the time. We got the water rudder up. All right, are there any dinky little runways around here? Like little grass strip? Yeah, they're pretty easy in those plane water landings. Of course, I'm pretty practiced at it. This particular plane. As I say, the thing that bugs me out is that bug where you should be able to steer the plane on the water. And in 2020, you can. It's a 2024 bug. I think in 2020 you can. I think I tried it in 2020. It was broken in 2022. So I'm not 100% sure that's true. But last time I checked in several other planes, I went through all my water rudder, all my planes that could land on the water. And I was like, how many of them can you actually steer when they're on the water using the actual steering mechanism? None of them. Maybe one of them worked. I don't know. I don't remember what the issue was. Anyway, we're going to go head up to Providence. I think there's a little runway up near Providence. It's not far. Not Providence. Provincetown. Providence isn't real live. Provincetown, right? Or what am I thinking? It's not that far. Yeah, actually, Provincetown's a long way away. We can't make it up there. But I'm just interested in checking out the rest of Cape Cod. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything up this way, but we'll find out. Again, we got plenty of time. I got lots of streams to do tomorrow, the day after that, and we'll be checking out this content. This, oh yeah, ooh, forgot we should, oh, here's some nice houses. Here's where your nice people, here's where your pleasant rich people live. Pleasant Bay, all right. Should be Rich People's Bay. Actually, we've seen nicer places. But you can tell, when your driveway is a curved shape like that, yeah, it's fancy. Like a C-shaped driveway. Only poor people have straight driveways. I don't know if that's true. All right, Cape Cod, Cape Cod, Cape Cod. I guess I don't know. A lot of people live here not year round or something. I don't know. Maybe don't ask me. Right, what's this area here called? This area is, I don't know, Nauset Beach, Nauset, something like that. They all have these weird kind of Indian-sounding names, like Reset Point, Tonset Road Beach. This one is like Priscilla Beach. It's like around here too, somewhere. One of these places. Still very pretty. Yeah, it's very lovely to fly around here. But yeah, we will be doing some city flights. Now, not in the 787. I couldn't get my 787 to load. I just need a new graphics card. That's period. That's it. It doesn't matter what graphics setting or how low I set my graphics setting or what my resizable bar is. My 787 just won't load. At least when it's on the ground, which is kind of important. In the air, it runs okay. But that's it. And I do like to operate on the ground. Yeah, it looks like they've done a lot of work in kind of the, how the bottom looks in shallow water. The shallow water bottom is there. Because I think this looks a lot. I haven't been here before because I can't say, but that looks a little more detailed than I normally expect for these kind of shallow water bays. Very realistic. It makes them look very real. Because yeah, the water is clear enough that you can see the bottom, and the bottom is a very very complicated shape. All right, so that's Snow Point around here. Or are we further north? At some point we should be able to see. Now we're not quite there yet. At some point you can kind of see how this is a long peninsula, and there's the bay. The bay is on the left. Which bay is it? Cape Cod Bay on the left, and on the right, the Atlantic Ocean. That way. So Cape Cod Bay that way, Atlantic Ocean that way. Looks like there's a tornado up there. It almost looks to me like this cloud is just hanging out over this area where we're hanging out here. That's fine. All right, what's on the ground? As I mentioned, it just looks like a lot of trees, and then until you fly over it, and you realize it's a lot of houses that just have a lot of privacy because they're surrounded by trees. Unlike the urban areas we'll be visiting quite a few times, I'm sure. As I mentioned, Boston's on the list, Providence on the list, and New York City, Manhattan, and Brooklyn. Brooklyn was very, I think, needed a lot of work. Manhattan always looked pretty good. All right, how does it look like from here? We still have that alternator light on, but I don't think that's very interesting. So we see our map there. You can kind of see where you can kind of see what I mean by when we look at the overhead map. It's a really long peninsula there. We got a long way to go. It's big. I mean, Massachusetts is a big enough state. But when you see Massachusetts, this thing is just kind of this little hook that sticks out from it. But then when you go there, it's pretty big. But at the end of that is Provincetown, which is kind of a famous touristy area. People go, very historical, earliest place where people lived, where people from England lived in America. Something like that. Looks like there's an amphitheater. Now, you know what I bet this is? I bet that's a drive-in movie theater there. That's what that looks like to me. They have drive-ins, but that, to me, looks like a drive-in movie theater. I guarantee you. It doesn't have the screen, but you can tell from the layout. It's funny, they're not very common in my part of the world, but, Texas still has a lot of drive-ins. I wonder if it's not necessarily, it's just because there's a drive-in movie theater there. It doesn't mean it's operational. It doesn't mean they do anything. They show regular things, maybe occasionally. All right, let's head up this street. This is kind of the main drag. This is Route 6. I don't know what it's called. It winds its way, or not pretty straight, really, up Cape Cod. It says there's something called the Nauset Lighthouse, but I'm wondering whether we'll be able to see it. I don't see any kind of markers, except way up there. So, and that's where we started. That's a long way out there. We're not going back there. But yeah, in a pinch, I could land on any flat road. But I'm wondering whether there is another like little landing strip out here somewhere. I don't see one. What's the little thing in here? A flight planner. Sometimes they're marked here. So what's that LFV? Yeah. So okay. The next one is Provincetown, but I think we can make it. Well, I'm having a nice time. This will be our flight for the day. By the way, after this flight, we shall be playing the big brain games. It is what it is. No, we need something more. So you can see up way up there is Provincetown Airport. Power here. I want to stay nice and low so you can see what's going on down here. But mainly, oh, some more nice houses down there. I think some of these houses haven't been given the personal, you know, the human hand touch, and they didn't. They only promised that area down there in Pleasant Bay was updated. So we're kind of going off the updated course here. But I haven't been around here, so it's kind of fun. All right, where'd that road go? Is that the road? Where's the road? Oh, that's right over there. It's over to the side. It kind of winds around a bit, but I kind of want to follow it so I know where I'm going. But as you can see, I got a big map there right in front of me in that display, and it shows exactly where I am. So even if I wasn't able to see outside the plane, I should know where I am at all times. We're about like 15 miles from that airport. It'll be a nice little flight. I'm looking forward to it. I've got plenty of Diet Coke. Yeah, and after there'll be a break. And after the break, I'm going to drag my piano in here. It is going to be Ken's Piano Lounge, which I always think is great for a Friday. You know, some people are watching me in Europe, and it's like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Perfect time to be hearing some piano lounge vibes, I think. So even though it's only going to be 12:30 when I start the piano lounge, my time, I always try to get into an evening vibe. Hello, why is our plane going down? We're going down. We're not going down. We're fine. I just need to adjust my trim a little bit. Power output. It is a really pretty plane, and again, it's people might ask, well, if you could afford a plane like that, would you get this? No, I wouldn't. This plane, compared to it's not practical. It doesn't have a lot of cargo capacity. Only 2 people. You're the pilot, and then one other person, and and we're going to store it in a hangar. I was thinking, like, compared to the gyro, which you can store in a garage, you could take it apart, put it in a trailer. I just think those kind of planes are more practical than something like this, which it doesn't come apart. You have to store it in a hangar. But it is really cool. It's really cool in that you can take off from land and land in the water, and I just think that's more of an interesting idea than something practical that you really want to do. Anyway, but besides the city update, I've been talking about going to Bora Bora for several weeks, so I'm gonna squeeze it in. Well, we're gonna have to have a very long flight stream at some point. So that's the Atlantic side. That's looking east. We're heading kind of northwest. Providence Road, not Providence. Keep saying Providence, but it's Provincetown. Keep saying it. Is coming up, and I believe it's a nice little touristy town. We'll fly over a bit, but I think it has a little airport. I'm not. Yeah, no, obviously it does. Well, not obviously. I think it does. Oh yeah, there it is. Provincetown Municipal Airport. It's kind of north on the beach there. Interesting airport to land at too. All right, Provincetown. Again, this whole area, Cape Cod, is known for being kind of a ritzy residential area. And you can just see those, it's not an infinite amount of land, but there's enough that people can build their big mansions and have plenty of waterfront there. Have their boats and their planes. But, I mean, yeah, the thing about there is you are kind of stuck. If you want to go to the city, like you want to go to Boston, I think it's probably it's like 3-hour drive or more, maybe 4-hour drive. And that's kind of the nearest major city. But, that's the thing. Looks like there's a marina in there. People could have their boats in there. And probably get them out onto the bay here. It's Cape Cod Bay. It's a big one. Yeah, it's a very big bay, actually. Okay, so we'll be hitting Provincetown shortly. Oh. Strange handling characteristics sometimes. I do kind of wish it did have an autopilot, but I don't mind that it doesn't. It's just, it can be a little handful sometimes. Just making sure everything is running. Even though that alternator signal is going, there also is I believe there's one of these things shows the available power, right? Water temperature, oil pressure. Usually there's a power, a voltage. No, actually, now I don't see it. I don't see one. Angle of attack. Yeah, actually, there isn't something that shows you power unless it's like an MFD page. Is there like a system MFD page? No, direct to. I mean, there's a 3D vision, and then there's the map. That's pretty much it. Oh, I didn't know these are. Never noticed that these are touch buttons here. Interesting. That's a new thing for me. Okay. All right. So we're gonna fly over Providence, and then as we pass over it, there's the airport we're gonna land at is right behind it. Providence. I keep saying that. Provincetown. I mean, I have it right in front of me. Checking out what I'm watching some random streams over here, but yeah, I'm looking forward to playing piano for about an hour, and then tomorrow will be guitar day. I'm still enamored with my new fancy cheap guitar. I've been working on it and getting ever closer to the ideal. Does this have a name? This little area here. There is a lighthouse. It's called Long Point Light Station. I don't know if it'll be visible. But yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot more people in this area because Provincetown is fairly decent size and has that, built-in tourist traffic. And people, I don't know why, but whatever. Let's get down a little bit closer. I think there's a lighthouse out here, but I don't know if it's rendered in the game. Or it's a light station. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's actually there. Maybe there'll be another update. Okay, so if we go here... Yeah, it doesn't show the lighthouse. But what I'm going to try to find is Pilgrim's First Landing Park. Pilgrims. That's the word for some reason I was not thinking of. And besides that, I have a viewer from Milo who regularly views me, whose name is Pilgrim 420 24/7. How do I know that number? It's easy to remember. All right. So if we go here, I'm going to show you what a park called Pilgrim's First Landing Park. Presumably they know this is where they landed, but I don't know. It's right here. We're gonna fly over kind of Provincetown. Damn it! I'll never get it right. I'm just gonna get used to this. But yeah, technically, if you want to come to where, I don't know why you would. If you want to come to where the Pilgrims landed in Provincetown. It is purportedly, mythologically speaking, right here. Where this building is, where this little park is, kind of right here, I think, on this part of the building. And I imagine or maybe on that side, I don't know, right around here maybe. There's a little monument to them right there. I think the town itself is probably, kind of like this here, what you're seeing right here. But it's nice up. And then the airport we're going to land up is right up there, kind of on the north beach there. All right. Provincetown. Yeah, this area hasn't been manually improved for the city update, but that's okay. We enjoyed. We're going to see a lot of improved terrain. It's kind of how can you tell? You can't tell the buildings are kind of generic. I mean, it's not like they're two-dimensional. It's not like it's a satellite map, but there's an AI that creates three-dimensional buildings from a satellite map, and you can kind of tell how it works. And then sometimes they'll have actual, humans that kind of model. This is interesting here. What that is there. It's a really interesting little shape there. Not sure what that's for. All right, let's head into Provincetown Municipal Airpuerto, and we're gonna put ourselves down there. There's the main road that kind of goes north and south, all the way up and down. The peninsula. It's long. Boom. A lot of people live on it. And again, that's the bay. You have to look. I don't know, on a clear day, even you can see, the rest of Massachusetts across this bay. It's quite a ways. Maybe, but not much, not easily. Just barely, I think. We almost smashed into the ground there. All right, so the runway we're looking for, we can land on anything. It's going to be there, right? So we're going to come down this beach here and then approach it from the other side. Actually, let me double check that. Okay. Oh yeah, perfect. All right, so we're going on the upwind leg or whatever here. We'll go out this direction. And we'll make a turn just when we get over the water. We'll prepare for landing. I love landings. Everybody put your seat and tray table in the upright position. Upright and locked position, please. I always like to say that for no particular good reason. Okay, what do we got here? We're going to head out there, land on KPBC. Kind of a nice little kind of windswept looking cold beach out here. Yeah, I don't there's plenty of beach, but probably not a lot of places where you'd want to go on a beach. I don't know. They look kind of nice, actually. You like a big windswept beach. Who doesn't? All right, we're about to make a big turn here. All right, we're going to make our turn. And at the time we make our turn, we're going to request half flaps. There you can see the runway there. We're going to go ahead and bring the gear down. Gear's coming down. There's our gear coming out. Rear gear is out. Front gear is out. Locked and ready. Probably going to go ahead and get full flaps now. There's full flaps for you. This is what it looks like from here. Monitoring airspeed at 70 is a good. I'm reducing power to maintain 70 knots. We don't really have any air brakes, so we kind of have to just lose power naturally. There we go. Now we got a good glide slope indicated. So we can kind of ease up on the downward action there. Okay, now we're watching the airspeed. 60 is good. We don't mind 60. 50 gets to be a little slow. Let's stay in the cockpit for this. We're going to bring this up. Ah. We're at 60. We're at 50. A little bumpy right around over those trees, but we didn't hit them or anything like that. All right, let's head in for landing here. You can trust me. I'm good at landing. Put her down real gentle. There you go. Barely felt that. Didn't wake the baby. There you go. Flaps up. Probably landed the wrong direction. It's fine. And this is Provincetown Municipal. Okay, that's where it is. I was like, where's the buildings? Around that way. I want to try to make this turn here. Don't worry about these planes. We're going to ride through them. Who are these people? There's like two of them. They're identical. Kind of cool. We'll go around them. We're going around you guys. We're going around them. Hey, Brooklyn. Good to see you. Been a while. What you been up to? You know, Bella stops in every now and then. But it's been a while. She's been busy. All right, we're just about ending our flight here. I want to go to this little airport, this little municipal airport, and take a little screenshot. Just as a memento of the places I've been. We flew from where was that place? It's called Chatham, which is kind of in the mid part of the Cape Cod Peninsula, up to Provincetown. That's kind of a cool little flight too. But again, the main reason is because Microsoft, the Flight Simulator, has announced a free update that includes new terrain, new descriptions, and I think the bays did look great. The bay looked amazing. I'm still, if only there were no bugs in this program is all I got to say about that. So this is the little municipal airport building area over here. It's a pretty small airport. That is definitely what you call general aviation. They're not going to be operating a lot of jets from here, I don't think. We're going to park up here near the fuel station here. I mean, unless I'm missing another building, this is not, you're not going to be taking a 737 out on that little runway there. But still cool little cool area. Okay, let's actually I'm going to keep the engine running for this. I just want to get out of the plane, take a look around, stretch our legs a little bit. We had a nice flight. There's our plane, the Icon A5 amphibious plane. Takes off on land, lands on water. A real plane, not one that they've sold in huge numbers. It says light sport. That's the class. There's ultralight. There's light sport. There's ultralight sport. There's a bunch of classes of planes that are non-commercial. You don't need a commercial pilot's license to fly them, nor are you allowed to take paying passengers up in there. How about just something that shows off the plane, maybe a little higher. There we go. It's got a really good. I mean, it's all there. It's gonna have to do. Basically, I use these little screenshots when I do go live notifications on Twitter, which I don't always do, but sometimes. Yeah. So I was mentioning it's a pusher. Which puts the engine. It's kind of a modern design, that pusher. It helps keep the, you don't see a propeller in front. It keeps the noise further behind you rather than a lot of noise in front of the plane. The balance is better. Actually, the engine is heavy and it's higher up, so it's not necessarily better for balance. But you see, this plane has these kind of wide design for a small plane, so it flies quite nicely. All right, that was fun. I'm kind of debating on whether I want to even do a tiny little second flight. I think I'm going to skip the second flight for today. I've been doing second flights a lot. But, 50 minutes in, we're still going to do the big brain games before we switch over to the musical category. And then once I do the music, I usually play the Ken's Piano Lounge. Takes like an hour. I got an hour's worth of songs I like to play on the old Ken's Piano Lounge. Oof. Hold on. I got to pour out the rest of my Diet Coke into ice. We still got plenty of Diet Coke. I mean, look at that. That is an excellent quantity. Oh, and there's more in the can. There's more in the refrigerator. Sorry. Okay, hold on 1 second here. Well, look, it was fine. We didn't have any huge crashes. We didn't have any struggles to show frame rate or anything like that. So I'm happy with at least I'm happy with the performance of the game today. All right, so let's go here. I'm going to bring this up here. We're going to bring this down here. We're going to switch to this page here. I mentioned big brain games. Okay, so for the big brain games, I do like to randomly move myself back to the just chatting category, which always takes a little bit of time here. Just chatting category. Very good. All right, there we go. Stick my ass up here. Big brain game. So it's a Quirtle. That's like a Wordle, except you saw 4 at a time. Then we'll be going to be doing the revealed, and then we're going to do the tightrope trivia, 9-question timed trivia quiz. Do that every day. And then we're going to end up with 2 octurnals. It's the same thing we do every time, except obviously the actual puzzles are different. But what puzzles we do, I'm very kind of OCD with that. All right, so the 5-letter games, I always use the same 3 starting words, and I always will, unless somebody comes up with better ones and tells me to use them. Okay, lower right, that looks interesting. We got 4 out of 5. We got 4 out of 5 on the upper left and the lower left as well. But the one I want to guess here is using. U-S-I-N-G. Ooh, could have been using, but it was suing. That's fine. We get some extra guesses. Suing for somehow seems like even a less. But the good thing about that was that, okay, now we know that there's a G in this one. So we've gone up to 4 in the upper right. And now we know where the S is. So could it be S-P? Yeah, it could be E and then an A, like speak, I think. Very good. Let's see. Could this be eagle? No, because there's... Oh, no, there's an L in it. It could be eagle on the upper right. So we're going to guess eagle for that one. It was. All right. Now we know where the... Okay, now we have one left to solve. It's this lower left one here. So we know where the E is, but there's an A and a T and an R in place. So let's see... And it could end in ER, right? No, it can't end in ER because there's these in the middle. Let's see. A, T, E, and then there has to be R somewhere. But it could be T-E-R-A. Could be Terra. No, darn. This could be a tough one. Let me think about this one here. It can't be theta, which I'm going to guess. But, okay, that helped. So now we know it starts with A. If the R can't go there, so maybe it's A. If the R isn't there, then it has to be RT. Could it be avert? It could be avert. Okay, we're moving along. These take a while, but I like to do these every day just to kind of keep the brain going. Revealed, I like this game. It's kind of, it can also take a while, and sometimes it's very quick. All right, what you get is a category, in this case, science and tech, that what we need to solve, which in this case is 2 big words, and then a heavily redacted document that we can reveal certain clues on. But before we do that, we're going to read the document in the redacted form. So the blank, what we're trying to find out is the blank, 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 that the blank of the blank on the blank. By the way, eventually we kind of get the vibe and figure out what this is. On the blank of a blank. Is blank the blank on the, this is going to be hard, blank, the blank opposite the blank, or in familiar blank, blank, blank. Although the, has been is actually far something, though. I want to guess something here, though. No, it's not going to fit. All right. Is the second word... Hold on a second. Hold on here. Yeah, I just want to see if this fits. That part does fit. Okay, it wasn't a formula. That's right. You can guess as many times as you want. No thing. But the number of reveals that you do does affect it. So we're going to do some reveals here. Okay, the blank is the blank blank. Sometimes the earliest ones are the best one, but these little ones are not going to be help. On the blank of a blank. I want to do this one here. That's what I thought it had something to do with. I thought it had something to do with triangles. And I thought it was, oh, it's the Pythagorean. theorem. That actually fits. Theorem, I misspelled it. All we needed was one. I kind of was thinking that. As you can kind of tell, I was thinking something mathematical. But we got that with one reveal. We did pretty good. Well, I did pretty good. One reveal, 0 hints. Other players on average required 5.8 reveals and 3.2 hints. 64% eventually solved it because you get a limited number. I'm pretty good at these. I have a feeling. I mean, in my opinion, and I've done 39 puzzles. Somehow I have 103% solve rate. It's a bug on their part. They had a duplicate puzzle one time. My current streak is 21 correct solve. That's every single day, even when I'm not playing or not. All right, let's move on to the trivia quiz. The tightrope quiz is 9 questions. It gets harder during the week. This is the third to the hardest one. There's 9 questions. It's time. The faster you got to get them both right and fast to get your high score. Let's get started. We know this. This whole thing takes a minute or two. Ear like in the ocean, named after which character? Go with Dumbo. That's the only one that seemed to have the ear issue. Favorite event of Ernest Hemingway? That's not right. That's Ring of the Bulls. Actually, I thought bullfighting was really. I guess he liked everything bull related. Which one is your ochre? Right, British over is. Oh no. Oof. I think it's flax. Vermilion. That's a hard one for me. I hope they'd put ochre, but they didn't. Anyway, what is what? Always found combined with other elements such as chlorine with salt. Sodium. Sodium cannot be found on its own because it immediately bursts into flame and explodes. It's that kind of. Anyway. Mo. So the sea is actually the largest lake in the world. Of all these, only the Caspian is a lake. Mo. Let's go outside. I gotta finish my tightrope triv quiz first. Advised that successful interviews have some double O's. Who named it other goop? That was Gwyneth, right? Gwyneth Paltrow, associated with the goop. Somehow I know that kind of stuff. I guess advertising it works. You know what I mean? Circles come by its diameter. It's pi. That's literally the definition of pi. Berliner, as Joey said, who was jokingly said to have called himself, it was Kennedy. He said, Ich bin ein Berliner. But he meant, well, you get the picture. That's an old one. That one I know. What faith refers to the period between life and death and referred as the Bardo? Ooh. I'm going to go with the Buddhism. But Mo. All right, we got 8 out of 9. That's not great, but it's not terrible. And you can get up to 2 wrong and technically cross the tightrope, which we always do. But I consider anything less than 9 a failure. Let's see, we got over 2,000 points, maybe, barely. Nope, not even. Excuse me a second, I gotta let the cat out. All right. Cat wanted to go out. All right. Hey, we're down to the last couple of games here before we go to the break, and then I get to play piano for you guys for an hour. All right, we're going to do the classic Octurtle and then the rescue because that's the hardest one. So start with the easiest one as a Octurtle, as I always said, as a warm-up. It's like any other 5-letter word game solve puzzles. I'm going to use the same 3 starting words. And now we have 8 different possible words to try to solve. This one here on the lower right could be fruit, right? I mean, what else could it be? And that F was super helpful. So let's see. This one is probably going to be F. Starts with FL, has an O and an N in it. Ooh, and that W is helpful over here. I just love playing this game for whatever. WOULD. Let's see what we got here. PO something. Could be Poppy. Could be Poopy. Probably Poppy though. Actually, it can't be Poopy because there's no the O. Can't have an O in the third position here. This one over here though, we have an NL and I, an NL and a U, and a T to place. So, I think this one on the right, lower right, is going to be till. Let's see. We got F. This is just a warm game. We have a word up here that starts with F and ends with F. It ends with L, sorry. So it's final. Has all the letters for final. Perfect. The upper left one there. Let's see. We got S, E, and A. Could it be easel? EASEL? I mean, it could be. All right, so now we're down to what I think is Poppy. And let's take a look at number 7 over here. This one here is, let's see, the N has to go. So it's RUNT. It's probably going to be grunt, right? Grunt. It's got to be grunt. All right, let's just guess Poppy. And I have a feeling we win. Okay, but we have one more to go. And we're going to go into the, before we get the break. And that's the rescue. This is the hardest one. The reason why it's the hardest is because I don't get to use my magically powerful 3 starting words. It chooses 4 random ones for you. Although interesting here, and they're usually, effectively terrible with a lot of repeated letters. But this one, okay, but there's always a couple that tells you this. We know where we have U, E, E, something. And that, what else? That Q, E, E, E. Q, U, E, E. Huh. It's either Q, U, E, E. Oh yeah, it could be queen. I think it's gotta be queen. What else has a U and an E and an E in it? So the point is there's gonna be some that are super hard, and then some that are kind of like, yeah, I can figure that one out. Let's see, we have an S here. That could just be swill, SWILL. But it could be spill, SPIL. It could be a lot of things. Let's keep moving. Ooh, some of these look like we got a lot of the letters. In fact, we got a J and a G. And so the lower right one really has got to be judge. Right? That's the easy one. So the 2 easy ones. Now, this one, unfortunately, looks like it's going to be easy on the left, but it's hard because you got SHA blank E. It could be shape, could be shake, could be shame, it could be shave. So P, K, M, and V all fit after there. So we're not going to guess that. Hopefully, we can get some more clues before we have to guess that one. So it looks like it's going to be easy. It's not. Anyway, but some of these we might be able to figure some of these out. Let's figure it out. We have a D and an R. But the E is there. I'll keep moving. I just want to look at all these ones here. There's an S. Oh, yeah, we ought to decide this could be spill or skill. It could be a million things. Oof. Well, we're going to have to guess something at some point. We have a D and an I to place here. And either the I or the D goes there. Whew. Could this be on the lower left? Could it be diode? D-I-O-D-E? I mean, I'm not worried about a try. Good, because we needed that D somewhere. Or we found the D. Nah, that made a lot of... No, now we know where the D is. It didn't tell us. Oh, the O is what was new there. O didn't tell us. We didn't get any O's. But that's fine. At least we eliminated it. And now we know where the D are. So, and there's an R to play. So it could be something. It's either DR something, but not E. So I don't like that. It could be dryer, D-R-Y-E-R. Let's just try it. All right, so we're getting lucky here. We're getting a little unlucky because that Y I was hoping would appear in other letters, and it doesn't. And we still have basically, we're going to have to guess something here, I think. Like, we're just going to just shape and hope we got lucky. We got lucky. Ooh, that because again, that could have been shape, shame, or shave. So that was a 1 out of 4 lucky. Hopefully that will be helpful too, because the P is helpful here. So now I think this one is going to be. It's not spray, but it could be scrap. All right, we're moving along. We're going to be almost done with the hardest octoral game. Okay, we already knew this started with S. It still could be swill or skill, S-kill, S-K-I-L-L. Right? Let's just guess skill, S-K-I-L-L. I bet it was swill. It was skill. We're doing really good. Now we have 2 guesses to guess this last one. But we're already super lucky. We already got super lucky. All right. So we know we know where the E is, but there's an S, A, and a T to place. And it doesn't start with the T or the S. So let's assume it starts with, well, the A. A-S-T. Not Esther, askew. Can't be askew. But we're going to guess it anyway. Just to see how close we were. I thought it started with AS. Okay, so now I know it's asset. A-S-E. That's all right, right? Yeah, we know it's asset. All right. We won the rescue, and I'm always happy when I win the rescue because statistically I only get about half of those or less. You know, by winning, you eventually just run out of guesses, and then that's when you don't win anymore. So yeah, you have to get them in the number of guesses that are allocated towards you. But today, I think we did okay. Basically, you know, I accept a 1 question wrong on one of the harder trivia quiz. That particular one about the colors, vermilion versus ochre, not ochre, but whatever it was, I didn't get. All right, it's fine. Here, what we're going to do next is I'm going to be running my little mid-roll. I'm going to be, during that time, massively scrambling to set up my keyboard here. It takes that whole time. But by the time, I should have mostly done. And hopefully, I'll be ready to tinkle the ivories for you guys shortly. So let's get that going here. Actually, before I do that, I like to go, while I'm thinking about it, into the music category. That's where we'll be next. Music category, voila. All right, see you next. Mid-roll. unmuted finally. Now I'm muted. Barely in time there, as I was saying. Get this in the right position. I got to move this microphone as close as possible to my mouth, or it picks up a lot of the sound of the. It's better than my other microphone. Okay. Reverb is activated in case I want to sing. Even if I'm talking, it's not that big deal. But I do like to keep it off for the flight segment. Flight simulator segments. A little too much condensation. Oop. I think I hit my... it'll be fine. Yeah, I have to move my keyboard every day. Every day. Well, 3 days a week, because that's the number of times I do the thing. But it's leaning. I have to take it over and lean over one because it's the same position. But, this is where I'm, I can't... You get the idea. Yeah, so I bring the stand in. I bring this in. I plug it in. I move this thing over. I got to plug in a bunch of them. I got to plug in the pedals. See if they work. Let's see if they work. I'm doing my little warm up. Started my streaming career 2 years ago. I was using a Yamaha white piano, a different one. In fact, the one that's in my background. But then I wanted to get this one, this Roland. It's very nice, but I had to get the one that was less than 30 pounds. I had to carefully know how heavy it was, because 30 pounds is the limit of me being able to pick it up and put it over against the wall every other day. Or sometimes I move it into the garage. It's really not heavy. I mean, I can pick it up. It's not that big a deal, and the other parts of it are much lighter. But I was like, I'm not buying any 50-pound piano, that's for sure. 30 pounds is my 30 pounds is. It's not light, but it's about the minimum you can get. Still have a weighted piano action, which I need. Okay, I've been practicing the song because Leah. I'm hoping Leah Ayame, the lovely streamer, will with a fantastic voice. I'm already excited about TwitchCon. I got my tickets already, 3-day pass for TwitchCon, and everybody's excited about it. It's called, I want to think, I'll do it kind of as a lounge version of Drops of Jupiter by Train. It goes like this. No, it goes. How does it start again? Okay, I remember how it goes. It starts like this. Practice the instrumental versions. And the other song I'm trying to learn that she might. I asked her if she could do the singing for. A song I've been loving for a long time. "Stay" by Rihanna. It doesn't sound like much when you don't sing it. I can't sing. I can't sing like Rihanna, but she can. Leah can. She's got an amazing voice. She doesn't think she does either. Show me some time. She said if you dare rest with my life. Round and around and around and around we go. Oh, round and around, tell me now we know. It's actually a really good, almost perfect rendition of "Stay" by Rihanna. I mean, the keyboard part. I'm trying to get really good at it because I might want to play that in public someday. All right, gonna get back to the regular old Ken's Sound Lounge, Piano Lounge. Welcome to the Piano Lounge. Settle in, get a drink. Right, what is the Piano Lounge? It's basically just a list of songs that I can have memorized and I can play in pretty much any order I feel like playing. For example, "Say a Little Prayer," the Natalie Cole version. All right. to officially welcome to Ken's Piano Lounge. Play a lot more of these little songs here. For example, Flashdance, Oh What a Feeling. You know, it makes a great lounge song, in my opinion. Next, that's not really classic lounge piano sound, but Girl from Ipanema is kind of a requirement if you play lounge piano. You're gonna learn this one. It's really easy though. play a couple of Todd Rundgren songs. Todd Rundgren's the person, if you've ever seen my social media PFP, my personal profile picture, me and another guy, the guy on the left is Todd Rundgren, who wrote these songs. He also wrote the song. I always like that song. All right, Warren Zevon. Let's sing the song. It's called Johnny Strikes Up the Band. Try your eyes, my little friends. Let me take you by the hand. Freddie, get ready. Rock steady. Johnny strikes up the band. They'll be rocking in the projects. Walking down along the strand. Freddie, get ready. Rock steady. When Johnny strikes up the band. When Johnny strikes up the band. When Johnny strikes up the. When Johnny strikes up the. When Johnny strikes up the band. Johnny is my main man. He's the keeper of the keys. He'll put your mind at ease. He's guaranteed to please, back by popular demand. Look around, my little friends. Jubilation fills the land. Freddie and Ray rock steady when Johnny strikes up the band. When Johnny strikes up the band. When Johnny strikes up the when Johnny strikes up the when Johnny strikes up the band. When Johnny strikes up the band. When Johnny strikes up the band. When Johnny strikes up the when Johnny strikes up the when Johnny strikes up the band. I always love that song. Warren Zevon off his Excitable Boy album from 1979. 77, sorry. Greatest album, probably the greatest album ever, in my personal opinion. Well, from that era, certainly. Little Billy Joel, why not? Actually, you know what? Hey, good to see you. Thanks. I'm going to do this with electric piano. It's very classic. I'm going to switch to electric piano here. Good to see you. Come by anytime. Do this. I bet drop fall if you want to. I do this like 5 times a week. Back to the regular piano. I like doing that one in the electric piano. I've actually kind of mastered the electric piano, but I don't know about that one. That one's just a very natural electric piano sound. Oh, we'll do Misty. That one you can play the regular piano. as usual, I'd say at this point in the show, there's be playing lip. If you're enjoying this show and you'd like to, contribute in some way, there's only one thing I ask that you do, and that's just you sidle up to the bar. You order a fancy cocktail, not a well drink or a beer or something like that, a fancy cocktail. And not for me. I got a Diet Coke for you, okay? I got a drink here. But most importantly, leave a very, very large tip for the wait staff. I mean, they have an average like 7 kids now. It's a lot of mouths to feed. What do you have to say for yourself? Cat stalking. I can't remember where it is. Steely Dan song there. This song's called We've Only Just Begun. It's by Paul Williams. It was a big hit for the Carpenters. that song. Paul Williams wrote. By the way, if you're here, it was a big hit for the Carpenters. But when I was a kid, before it became a big hit for the Carpenters, it was a jingle for the Crocker Bank, not a bank that's around anymore. The Crocker Bank in L.A., kind of Southern California bank. But there was a shorter version that hired Paul Williams to write the jingle, and they had this really amazing commercial for the time where they showed a family kind of growing up, having kids and aging and all that, all the major events in their lives and things like that. And the bank was there for all their events, really, really. No, Crocker Bank got bought by another bank long time ago, but you can look it up. It was originally a Crocker Bank jingle. And then he added the midsection, and it became big hits for the Carpenters. Karen was an amazing drummer as a singer, and he was incredible on the keyboard player. I mean, the other song I do is. Shortened version of that song, but you need the whole thing, the singing things. But I love that version. I'm gonna do a couple of show tunes here. This is actually, yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. We're only a little younger than me apparently. You'll know this then. You'll probably know this then. What movie is this from? Sing it, And fear filled the land. A cry went up for a man with guts to take the West in hand. They needed a man who was brave and true, with justice for all as his aim. Then out of the sun rode a man with a gun, and Bart was his name. Yes, Bart was his name. He rode a blazing saddle. He wore a shining star. His job to offer battle to bad men near and far. He conquered fear and he conquered hate, turned dark bright into day. He made his blazing saddle a torch to light the way. Anyway, I don't know if I ever sing that song. I occasionally do. I don't. I think it's too late. Blazing Saddles. I'm not going to sing too many more songs. It's a lounge act. One of the best, funniest movies of all time. Gene Wilder. You're talking about Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor. Yes, I know what you're talking about. One is blind and the other is dead. Yeah. What is switching? They were in a different movie. The other movie, it was like a train movie. Anyway, I kind of know. All right, I think you're going to know some of these older songs here. Oh, right. One is blind, and so the other doesn't. So he anyway. And he's blind, so I got it. Yeah, I remember that vaguely. He was some really, really sharp stuff back then that he couldn't do anymore because of racial stuff. Yeah, he is, and he used to hang a lot. Mel Brooks used to hang out a lot with who's the other guy who's kind of that age. Shit, now my mind's drawing a blank. But yeah, no, he's still around, and he's still kind of producing. They still want to put out another Spaceballs movie, and he's listed as producer. I mean, I don't think how actively involved in it, but yeah, at 98. But that was Spaceballs eventually became a classic. Took a while. I always like Spaceballs. All right, Secret Ain't Bad. There's a man who leads a life of danger. Everyone he meets, he stays a stranger. With every move he makes, well, another chance he takes. Odds on he won't live to see tomorrow. Beware of pretty faces you may find. A pretty face can hide an evil mind. What you say, don't give yourself away. Don't you won't live to see tomorrow. Secret agent man, secret agent man. Well, they've given you a number and they've taken away your name. You're sunning in the Riviera one day, bleeding in a Bombay alley next day. Oh, don't let the wrong word slip and kissing persuasive lips. Odds on he won't live to see tomorrow. I hope you got it. Secret agent man, secret agent man. Well, they've given you a number and they've taken away your name. Look at it, agent man, secret agent man. This mysterious life you lose is a deadly game. Given you a number and they've taken away your name. Well, look at it, agent man, secret agent man. This mysterious life you choose is a deadly game. Did you miss my Steely Dan? I'll play one for you. Yeah, I already did. What did I do already? Okay, I'm gonna do Hey 19. That's the only one I can really sing. It goes like this. Okay, well, let me get it right here. It starts here. It's got a kind of a weird starting point. It's called Hey 19 by Steely Dan. Way back when, in 67, I was the dandy of Gamma-Chi. Sweet things from Boston, so young and willing. Moved down to Scarsdale, where the hell am I? Hey 19, no, we can't dance together. No, we can't take me along when you slide on down. Hey, 19, that's Aretha Franklin. She don't remember the Queen of Soul. It's hard times with fallen soul survivors. She thinks I'm crazy, but I'm just growing old. Hey, 19, no, we can't dance together. No, we can't talk at all. Please take me along when you slide on down. Cuervo gold, the fine Colombian, make tonight a wonderful thing. The Cuervo gold, the fine Colombian, make tonight a wonderful thing. The Cuervo gold, the fine Colombian, make tonight a wonderful thing. Hey, 19, no, we can't talk and dance together. No, we can't talk at all. Please take me along when you slide on down. I do love The Night Flight. It is one of my all-time favorite albums. The only one I could ever do is Ruby Baby from that song, which is actually a class. It's not one of his songs, but it's a great rendition of it. But I can't do it anymore. I wish I could do the Ruby Baby song. But all the songs on The Night Flight are unbelievable, amazing songs. There's no. But anyway, but I'm just more than my regular lounge act, which includes Up, Up and Away, classic lounge song. Getting close to the bottom of the Diet Coke, which powers... This stream is powered by Diet Coke. It's not sponsored by Diet Coke. We don't know why. But when the Diet Coke runs out, the stream has to pack it in. Got a little bit left though. Jazzy there, why not? Or jazz. Speaking of jazzy, what do we got here? Speaking, I don't know. It's jazzy. Speaking of jazzy, Vince Guaraldi, jazz, San Francisco jazz man, Vince Guaraldi. where I'm missing a song. It's called Mad World. It's an INXS song, but I think most people are familiar with the Gary Jules version, which I am too. All around me are familiar faces, worn down places, worn down faces, bright and early for the daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Their tears are filling up their glasses, no expression, no expression. Hide my head, I want to drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Children waiting for the day they feel good. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Made to feel the way that every child should. Sit and listen, sit and listen. Went to school and I was very nervous. No one knew me, no one knew me. Hello teacher, tell me what's my lesson. Looked right through me, looked right through me. And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Mad world. Enlarging your world. All right, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for coming by. Everybody came by, said hi. A lot of people came by and said hi as usual. Fridays are probably most active streams for chatting, which is always great. But, hold on here. Changing my scene around here. All right, back to my home scene. There we go. I don't need these anymore. I had a great time streaming. What have we got? Like about 2 hours a quarter in. We got some flying around. We got some landing on the water. We got some taking off. We got some landing on the land. We got have a great evening too. Sites come by, and as for those people who may not know, I'm sure you know. Tomorrow more streaming. It's at regular time. Day after regular time. Day after regular time. Monday. Tuesday it starts with a TU, so unfortunately no streaming there. It's just a weird thing in my brain. TU, also TH, no. But any other day, yes, absolutely, we'll be streaming very similar content. We got a lot of exploring to do in the new city updates, Northeast City update. We got a Boston, Providence. We got to see New York. We're going to see New York. It's going to be a lot of stuff. We got a lot of content to do, and there'll be, of course, I alternate the musical portion between the keyboard and the guitar. So tomorrow. This little preview. I'm going to whip out this fancy cheap guitar I recently got, and it's still sitting out. It's kind of a cool looking guitar too. It's what I call my fancy cheap guitar. I bought it on Amazon for $300. You can still get them, not in this color on Amazon, but you can still get this burl style, just in other colors. But they're now $400, which is kind of an outrageous price considering they're not playable out of the box. You gotta set them. You gotta know how to set them up. Now I've set this one up, and it's starting to play really nice. I'm starting to get very impressed actually. But. Just wait a second here. But that's also part of my skills as a guitar tech. Be able to optimize the guitar, adjust the truss rod, string height, intonation, everything else that can be adjusted on a guitar, which is a lot. Okay, so thanks again for coming by. I'm gonna go have the rest of my Friday, enjoy, relax, maybe I have to send a mail too here. I don't think so. Actually, I think things are pretty clear on the work computer, which is still on and checking my mail. But no, we're gonna have to worry about that tomorrow or the day after. And so I'm looking forward to streaming. I'm all really looking forward to tomorrow's stream. I had such a good time. I'm gonna do it all again tomorrow. Okay, see you next time.